Did you know Japan has more people living past 100 than anywhere else in the world? Over 90,000 centenarians call Japan home, and what's fascinating is that many of them are still active and independent well into their 80s and 90s. Meanwhile, in other parts of the world, people spend thousands of dollars on gyms, supplements and trendy fitness programs, yet Japanese elders are quietly outliving almost everyone else. When Harvard researchers studied these long-living Japanese seniors for 5 years, they expected the secret to be something obvious, like diet or genetics. But what they uncovered was far more surprising. It wasn't about eating fish or having perfect DNA. The real secret was hiding in 6 daily movements so simple that Western doctors didn't even take them seriously at first. But then brain scans revealed something shocking. These movements reduced cognitive decline by nearly 40%, kept joints flexible for decades longer, and gave people in their 80s the balance of someone 20 years younger. Stanford researchers went so far as to call it the most overlooked key to longevity in modern medicine. And today, I'm about to reveal these exact 6 movements to you, starting with the most basic and building up to the most powerful. But let me warn you, the very first movement I'll show you is the one that stunned scientists the most. In a massive study of 15,000 Japanese seniors, this one simple daily habit added an average of 7 extra years of life. And here's the kicker, 90% of Americans have never even heard of it. It takes just 2 minutes, requires no equipment, and yet neuroscientists found it activates more areas of the brain at once than any other physical activity ever studied. Before we jump in, I want to know something from you. Comment your age and where you're watching from. I'll be reading and replying to as many as possible. Now, let's dive straight into movement number 6. And don't be fooled by its position on the list. This simple habit is the foundation of every Japanese elder's daily routine. Movement number 6. The art of slow walking, also known in Japan as Sampo. At first glance, Sampo might look almost too simple to matter. After all, it's just walking. Right, but for Japanese elders, it's much more than that. It's almost like sacred medicine. Sampo is not your typical stroll or brisk power walk. It's a slow, intentional and mindful way of moving, usually done at about half the speed you'd normally walk. Many Japanese seniors begin their day with Sampo, practicing it for 20 to 30 minutes every morning, often before breakfast, as if it's a daily ritual. The difference lies in the rhythm. While Western fitness routines emphasize speed, sweat, and burning calories, Sampo is built on deliberate slowness and controlled breathing. Here's how it works. As you walk, you breathe in for 2 steps, hold that breath for another 2 steps, and then exhale for 4 steps. This steady pattern creates a unique harmony between your heart, lungs, and nervous system. Something fast walking simply cannot achieve. And the results are remarkable. A large study in 2019 by Kyoto University followed 3,000 seniors over the age of 60 for an entire decade. The seniors who practiced daily Sampo had 62% less arterial stiffness than those who didn't. Their blood pressure dropped significantly, on average 12 points systolic and 8 points diastolic. Imagine the impact. That's like giving your heart and blood vessels an extra lease on life without a single pill. But the science doesn't stop there. Walking slowly, with intention allows your foot to fully connect with the ground, rolling from heel to arch to toe. This simple act awakens all 33 joints in each foot, sending signals to your brain that sharpen your sense of balance and spatial awareness. In fact, Western seniors who practice Sampo for just 8 weeks improved their single-leg standing time by an average of 45 seconds longer, a huge gain in stability and fall prevention. To do Sampo properly, roll through your entire foot with every step. Keep your gaze 6 feet ahead instead of staring at the ground. Let your arms swing naturally but gently, and keep your hands relaxed with slightly curved fingers. The breathing rhythm may feel tricky at first, so counting steps can help until it becomes second nature. Morning practice is the most powerful because cortisol levels are naturally higher, and this calming routine helps balance them out. One important note: avoid doing sampo on a treadmill. The moving belt disrupts the natural mechanics of your feet. Instead, practice outdoors if you can, and choose different surfaces like grass, dirt paths, or even uneven terrain. Each surface wakes up new muscles, keeping the practice fresh and your body even stronger. When Japanese elders practice sampo on natural surfaces like grass, dirt paths, or even uneven ground, the benefits multiply. A study from the University of Tokyo found that seniors walking on these softer terrains had 20% better joint mobility than those who only walked on concrete. That's because natural surfaces force your stabilizing muscles to wake up and work, which keeps joints strong and mobile as you age. If you're new to this, start with just 10 minutes a day and slowly build up to 30 minutes over a few weeks. Your body will thank you. Now we move from mindful walking to something even more fascinating, a practice that literally rebuilds the body from the ground up. Movement number 5, daily stretching, or as it's known in Japan, Radio Taiso. Every morning at 6:30 a.m., a gentle piano melody plays across Japan's national broadcasting system. And when that music starts, millions of people from school children to grandparents stop what they're doing and join in. They've been doing this since 1928, making it one of the longest-running health traditions in the world. But here's the twist. Radio Taiso isn't like the Western idea of exercise. There are no intense workouts, no weights, no sweat sessions. Instead, it's a flowing sequence of 13 simple stretches, performed in just 3 minutes and 15 seconds. What makes it powerful is the constant motion. You never hold a pose, never strain, never push yourself to the limit. Instead, you move continuously and gently, almost like water flowing through the body. This lubricates your joints, keeps your muscles flexible, and prevents stiffness that usually creeps in with age. And the science backs it up. Researchers at Osaka Medical College studied more than 8,000 seniors who practiced Radio Taiso daily compared to those who didn't. The results were staggering. The daily group had 40% fewer falls, 55% less chronic back pain, and nearly full range of motion in their shoulders and hips well into their 80s. How is this possible? The secret lies in something most of us never think about: synovial fluid, the natural lubricant in your joints. These dynamic stretches increase its production by up to 30%. Think of it like oil for your body's hinges. When you don't move, that oil thickens and dries up, leading to stiffness and pain. But with just a few minutes of Radio Taiso every day, you keep the joints smooth, flexible, and pain-free. The sequence begins simply raising your arms slowly overhead as you breathe in, then lowering them as you breathe out. That gentle motion opens the chest and improves breathing capacity. From there, arm rotations loosen the shoulders, twists maintain spinal flexibility, and side bends wake up the core and stretch the waistline. Each movement flows into the next, like a dance designed to keep the entire body supple and alive. Radio Taiso doesn't just stretch the arms and spine, it also works the whole body in a way that feels effortless. The rib cage expands with gentle side bends, stretching the intercostal muscles between your ribs and improving lung capacity. The leg portion includes light marching in place and shallow squats, which keep the hips and knees mobile without strain. The entire sequence flows like music, raising your heart rate just enough to improve circulation while keeping everything safe and gentle. But here's the part most people miss: timing is everything. Japanese elders practice Radio Taiso right after waking up, often before eating or drinking anything. Why? Because during sleep your body's natural growth hormone peaks. At that exact time in the morning, your muscles and connective tissues are the most responsive to stretching. By moving gently at this moment, you're taking advantage of your body's natural repair system, giving yourself a head start on the day. And remember, this isn't about forcing or straining. Each stretch should feel like you're moving through warm honey, smooth, soft, and controlled. If you can't do the full sequence, Even the simple arm raises and gentle twists can give you most of the benefits. That's the beauty of this practice. It meets you where you are. What's amazing is that many Japanese companies still encourage radio Taiso before the workday begins. Entire groups of employees stand together, moving in sync with the music. And the results are measurable. Studies show these employees take 30% fewer sick days compared to those in companies that skip this tradition. Imagine that, just 3 minutes a day, improving health, energy, and even workplace productivity. Now, as powerful as stretching is, the next movement we're about to explore does something even more incredible. It protects your brain just as much as it protects your body. Before we continue, if you've been enjoying this video so far, make sure to hit that like button so more seniors can discover these secrets, and don't forget to subscribe. We've got brand new health tips for seniors coming every single day, and you don't want to miss what's next. Movement number 4, the deep squat rest, known in Japan as Shinkozuwari. If you walk through any Japanese park or garden, you'll notice something fascinating. Elderly people sitting in a deep squat, heels flat on the ground, chatting with friends or tending to their plants. They can hold this position for 10, 20, even 30 minutes without discomfort. Meanwhile, in most Western countries, people over 60 can't stay in this position for even 10 seconds. This isn't just about flexibility. The deep squat rest is one of the most fundamental human positions, but it's been lost in chair-sitting cultures. Japanese seniors keep this ability because they've practiced it daily, usually without even realizing it, for their entire lives. Japanese elders don't just squat once and call it a day, they weave it naturally into life, often spending 20 to 30 minutes in this position spread throughout the day, and the benefits are staggering. A groundbreaking 12-year study from the Tokyo Metropolitan Institute of Gerontology followed over 5,000 seniors. Those who could hold a deep squat for at least 2 minutes had a 70% lower risk of needing assisted living. They stayed independent an average of 9 years longer than those who couldn't. Why does this matter so much? The answer lies in biomechanics. The deep squat opens the hip joints fully, preventing the tightening that often locks seniors into a shuffling gait. It keeps the ankles flexible, which is crucial for balance and fall prevention. It strengthens the pelvic floor muscles, which play a key role in bladder control. And perhaps most importantly, it decompresses the spine, allowing nutrient-rich fluid to circulate through the discs between vertebrae, essential for keeping the back healthy and pain-free. The difference shows up in real life. Harvard researchers found that cultures where squatting is still common have 80% fewer hip replacements and 60% less chronic lower back pain compared to countries where people spend most of their lives sitting in chairs. Now, if you can't squat easily, don't worry. You can build this ability step by step. Start with your back against a wall for support. Keep your feet shoulder-width apart, toes angled slightly outward. Lower yourself slowly, letting your knees follow the line of your toes. If your heels won't stay flat, slip a rolled towel underneath them. At first, just hold the squat for 30 seconds, then gradually increase the time as your mobility improves. Here's the real trick: frequency matters more than duration. Doing 5 one-minute squats spread throughout the day is far better than trying to force one long 5-minute hold. That's exactly how Japanese elders do it. They squat while gardening, waiting for buses, sorting low shelves, even playing with their grandchildren. It becomes second nature, a position they rest in instead of bending over or collapsing into a chair. And that's the beauty of it. No gym, no equipment, no schedule, just a natural, powerful way to keep your body mobile and independent for years longer than you thought possible. Every time Japanese elders squat to garden, play with grandchildren, or even tie their shoes, they're not just resting, they're reinforcing a movement pattern that preserves their independence. And now we move to something even more fascinating. A practice so powerful that Japanese doctors actually prescribe it the way Western doctors prescribe pills. Movement number 3, single leg standing, known as ashi. At first, it might sound almost silly, standing on one leg. But in Japan, This is considered serious medicine. In fact, physicians recommend it to patients over 60 as a form of preventive care, and it's even covered by health insurance. Why? Because the science behind it is overwhelming. One massive study from Fukuoka University followed more than 12,000 people for 15 years. The results were staggering. Those who practiced single-leg standing daily had 68% fewer hip fractures and 75% fewer falls that required hospitalization. That's not just statistics, that's lives saved, independence preserved, and years of mobility gained. And it's not only about bones and balance. Brain scans revealed something extraordinary. People who practiced ashi regularly showed increased gray matter in the motor cortex and cerebellum, areas of the brain responsible for coordination, stability, and movement. In other words, this simple act literally reshapes the brain to stay sharper and more responsive with age. Here's why it works. When you stand on one leg, your body makes thousands of tiny micro-adjustments every single minute to keep you stable. These subtle corrections strengthen your muscles, yes, but more importantly, they train your entire neuromuscular system. Your proprioceptors, the sensors that tell your brain where your body is in space, become hyperactive. Your vestibular system in the inner ear sharpens, and your visual processing speeds up as your brain integrates information from multiple systems at once. It's like giving your nervous system a full workout in just 60 seconds. The standard routine is simple. Stand near a wall or sturdy chair for safety. Lift one foot just an inch off the ground. Keep your eyes fixed on a point about 10 feet ahead and breathe normally. Hold for 30 seconds, then switch legs. As you improve, you can push further. Try closing your eyes. Without visual input, the body is forced to rely on balance systems you don't usually train. And the results are incredible. Japanese elders often build this practice into their everyday lives. Many do it while brushing their teeth. 2 minutes of stability training hidden inside a routine they already do twice a day. And over time, this small habit rewires the nervous system for decades of stability. Over time, ashi, the single-leg standing practice, becomes automatic, like brushing your teeth. That's the genius of it. It turns into a habit loop that guarantees consistency without you even thinking about it. And once the basics feel easy, Japanese elders add little variations to push themselves further. They might turn their head side to side while balancing, lift their arms overhead, or make small circles with the raised foot. Each tweak challenges the body in new ways, activating different muscles and forcing the brain to adapt. This is what scientists call progressive overload. A slow, steady increase in challenge that keeps your nervous system sharp. When holding 30 seconds becomes effortless, you push to 45. When balancing with eyes open is easy, you try it with eyes closed. For an even bigger challenge, some stand on a folded towel or soft surface, forcing the body to react to instability. These progressions don't just strengthen balance, they keep the brain plastic, forming new neural connections that protect against cognitive decline. And here's the jaw-dropping part. Researchers at the Mayo Clinic found that your ability to balance on one leg is actually a better predictor of longevity than blood pressure or cholesterol. People over 60 who can stand on one leg for 30 seconds have the same mortality rates as people 10 years younger. Think about that. A single daily habit, no equipment required, can reveal more about your future health than some of the most common medical tests. Now, if that doesn't impress you, get ready. Because the next movement might be the most underrated of all. It looks ordinary, almost too simple, yet it works like a hidden full-body workout that touches everything from strength and flexibility to brain health. Movement number 2, floor-sitting transitions, known in Japan as seisa. Here's something that might blow your mind. The average Japanese elder over 70 gets up and down from the floor more than 20 times a day. They eat on the floor, drink tea on the floor, socialize on the floor, and even watch television sitting there. Each of these transitions, standing down, sitting cross-legged, or kneeling, then rising again, is a complex full-body motion that engages muscles and coordination in ways no treadmill or weight machine can copy. And the results speak for themselves. The University of Tsukuba conducted a massive study on over 10,000 seniors, comparing those who regularly sat on the floor to those who only used chairs. The floor sitters had 40% stronger lower bodies, 50% better hip flexibility, and were still able to rise unassisted well into their 90s. But here's where it gets shocking. Their scores on cognitive tests were also 15% higher. Why? Because every time you get down to the floor and back up, your brain engages in complex motor planning. This activates the prefrontal cortex, the part of your brain responsible for decision-making, focus, and executive function. In other words, a simple daily action like sitting down for tea doubles as a workout for both the body and the brain. What looks like a simple daily act, getting down to the floor and back up, is actually a full brain workout in disguise. Every transition demands balance, strength, coordination, and quick decision-making. It's not just your muscles at work. Your brain is firing on all cylinders to plan each step, stabilize your body, and control your movement with precision. The traditional Japanese method starts from standing with feet together. First, you lower one knee to the ground, then the other, easing into a kneeling position. From there you can shift into cross-legged sitting or side sitting. To rise again, you reverse the process. One foot steps forward into a lunge, you push through that leg with power, and finally bring the other foot up to meet it. It sounds easy, but doing it smoothly without help requires tremendous control, mobility, and strength. If you're new to this, you don't jump straight into it. You build it step by step. Start with support. Use a low stool or ottoman to guide yourself down safely, placing your hands on it for balance. Once stable, try to remove your hands. Over time, as weeks pass, you'll rely on your arms less and your legs more, until finally you can perform the movement unassisted. Practicing on a yoga mat or carpet makes it safer for your knees while you build confidence. Here's the surprising truth. It's not about perfection, it's about frequency. Even practicing just 2 or 3 transitions a day gives your body massive benefits. For Japanese elders, this isn't exercise, it's simply life. They never stopped sitting on the floor from childhood, so their bodies never lost the ability. But even if you're relearning it later in life, patience is the secret. You may need months to get it smooth, but the reward is worth every step. In fact, studies show this single ability to rise from the floor without using your hands is one of the strongest predictors of how long you'll live. A groundbreaking study from Brazil found that those who could perform this simple action lived, on average, 6 years longer than those who couldn't. Imagine that. Your ability to sit and stand from the floor may be a stronger sign of longevity than any medical chart. And now, we arrive at the movement you've been waiting for. The one researchers never expected to work the way it does. The one so powerful it rewrote what scientists thought they knew about aging, the body, and the brain. Movement number 1, the towel twist, known in Japan as hibiki. This is it, the king of all movements. The simple ritual that has stunned doctors, fascinated neuroscientists, and changed the way aging is studied forever. It involves nothing more than a simple hand towel. Yet, ask Japanese centenarians the one practice they credit most for their vitality, and they'll point to this. The towel twist, known as hibiki. On the surface, it looks almost trivial. You hold a towel with both hands, arms extended, and twist. But calling this a towel twist is like calling the ocean a puddle. This movement unlocks dormant muscle fibers that ordinary exercises never touch. When researchers at Toku University wired participants to electrodes, what they saw stunned them. Deep spinal stabilizers fired with intensity, hidden foot muscles lit up. Even tiny facial muscles showed activation. No other movement in their studies had ever triggered such a widespread cascade of engagement. The real shock came from a massive 20-year study tracking 15,000 Japanese seniors. Those who practiced hibiki for just 2 minutes a day lived, on average, 7 years longer. Their grip strength, the single most accurate predictor of mortality, remained above the threshold for independence until around age 92. Their bones stayed as dense as people 2 decades younger, and when scientists looked at their brains, the results were extraordinary. Because hibiki requires bilateral coordination, both sides of the body working in perfect sync, it stimulates both hemispheres of the brain at once. That creates fresh neural highways between them. Participants developed sharper memory, quicker reflexes, and dramatically lower rates of dementia. In other words, this simple twist trains not just the body, but the brain itself. Here's how it works. Start with a hand towel rolled lengthwise. Hold it horizontally at shoulder height, hands about 18 inches apart. Pull outward firmly, as if you're trying to tear the towel in half. That tension is everything. It turns the towel into resistance. Keeping your hips forward, rotate your torso slowly to the right, pulling against yourself the entire time. Hold for 3 seconds at your maximum twist, return to center, then rotate left. Every inch of your body is working. Your core, your spine, your balance systems, even the small stabilizers that keep you upright. 2 minutes a day is enough. That's all it takes to activate what one Japanese researcher called the body's forgotten circuitry. This isn't just exercise. This is the crown jewel of Japanese longevity. A single ritual that protects muscles, bones, and memory, while adding years to your life. Your breathing must remain steady throughout. Inhale as you return to center. Exhale deeply as you twist. This rhythm isn't random. It stimulates the vagus nerve, which calms the body, reduces stress hormones, and lowers inflammation at a cellular level. It's like switching your body from survival mode into healing mode. The genius of hibiki lies in its flexibility. Beginners can start with light tension and shallow twists. Advanced practitioners create massive resistance and deeper rotations. Some Japanese elders even adapt it, doing it seated or lying down, yet the principles never change. Create tension, move with control, and match breath to motion. Here's the part that still amazes scientists. These isometric contractions release myokines, tiny proteins that act like medicine, flooding your body with healing signals. They fight inflammation, balance blood sugar, and even encourage the birth of new brain cells. And among all movements studied, the towel twist produces the highest myokine release per minute. Timing makes it even more powerful. In Japan, elders often perform hibiki twice daily, once in the morning to wake the nervous system, and once at night to promote recovery and deeper sleep. Just 1 minute at sunrise and 1 minute before bed is enough to reshape your biology. No gym, no equipment, no excuses, just a towel, 2 minutes, and a commitment to yourself. And when you step back, the lesson is breathtaking. The revolution in healthy aging isn't hidden in some futuristic drug or billion-dollar machine. It's right here, in practices so simple we've overlooked them. These 6 Japanese movements aren't workouts. They're a living system, a blueprint to keep the body strong, the mind sharp, and independence alive. Decade after decade. Strength, balance, flexibility, coordination, longevity. These aren't miracles. They're the natural result of daily habits passed quietly through generations. And now, they're in your hands. So tomorrow morning, pick up a towel. Take that first twist. Because the secret to living longer, healthier, and more independently doesn't start with technology. It starts with you. Flexibility, balance, coordination, even brain health. These 6 simple movements cover it all. They don't need fancy equipment. They don't need special shoes or hours in a gym. They slip so effortlessly into your day that they feel as natural as breathing. And the science couldn't be clearer. People who practice these movements age differently, dramatically differently, than those who don't. They stay independent longer. They keep their memory sharp. They spend their later years living fully, not just enduring. So the choice is in front of you right now. You can keep chasing Western exercise routines that treat aging like a battle to be fought, or you can embrace these timeless Japanese practices that turn aging into something graceful, powerful, and deeply human. The Japanese have already shown us the way. Science has already proven it works. The only question left is, will you begin today, or wait until tomorrow? Now I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 6 movements feels most important for your life right now? Do you think you could add one of them into your daily routine starting today? Or maybe you've already tried one before. Did you notice any changes in your strength, balance, or energy? Share your experiences in the comments below. I read every one of them, and your story might just inspire someone else to start their own journey. Thank you so much for watching. Stay strong, stay curious, and remember, how you move today shapes the life you'll enjoy tomorrow.